One of you asked, what's the story behind the name Silvering Value Partners? Why did you name your firm that? If you want to hear the story, stick around until the end. Hi, my name is Gary Mishuras. I'm the Managing Partner and Chief Investment Officer of Silvering Value Partners. I also teach the Value Investing Seminar at the F.W. Olin Graduate School of Business. So, the story is as follows. My family and I immigrated from the former Soviet Union. We left in '89, and we spent some time in Italy. And that was part of the immigration process. We lived in a little town called Ladispoli outside of Rome. And the purpose was to just wait to get refugee status. Now, leaving the former Soviet Union, now called Russia, was interesting in the sense that they wouldn't let you take any money beyond, I think it was $125 per person, and you actually had to pay them to give up your Russian citizenship. So, quite a racket. But nonetheless, we wanted to leave, so we did. The other restriction they put on us is that they didn't want people to take their money and buy like 100 watches or 100 rings or whatever. So they said, one piece item of a kind per person, kind of like a Noah's Ark of things. So you can get one watch, you can get one ring, you can get one bracelet, whatever, right? So when I was very little, my mom had a golden ring that she gave to me, and this was a tiny little thin golden ring that she had as a child, and she gave to me, and I really liked. It was important to me partly because my mom gave it to me, and I got used to it. Now, when we were leaving, there were other more valuable rings that we had that it made much more economic sense for us to take. So I had to leave that golden ring that my mother gave me behind, and I was upset about that, but it was not a choice that I just had to do it. And in Italy, what we were doing is we were to make ends meet, we sold the things that we brought with us. So my mom was specializing in more the optics, things like binoculars and just larger things that we were selling to the Italians at cents on the dollar. And I specialized in selling commemorative matches. So in Russia, they had these wooden boxes with nice wooden matches with nice stickers on top. They were colorful. And the Italians haven't seen those type of matches, and they were, it was a nice souvenir. And so there I was, I was about 10 years old, and I would be, selling at the fountain. This is in central Ladispoli. And I would say, "Signore, una mille, per favor, mire, signore." And so I made my first, $35 that way. And my largest ticket sale, now keep in mind, this was, 30 years ago, was an empty suitcase from all the stuff that my mom sold. And that suitcase went for 5 mil. By the way, mil was before the euro, so that was about something like 75 cents. Per mil, so 5 mil was, I sold it for $3 to $4. And I was very proud of my sale, and I had, on the way to the fountain where everyone sold their goods, there was a jewelry store that I've been kind of stopping by at, and I saw a gold ring that was just like my old gold ring. And what do you know, the price was 5 mil. So when I finally made that big sale, I went to my mom and I asked, well, can I go and spend the 5 mil I made from selling the suitcase to buy the gold ring to restore what was mine? And she wasn't super happy about it. We didn't have much money. We didn't know what the future was going to hold. But she said, okay, you earned it. It's yours. So you decide if that's what you want to do. And I did. And I went into the store and I noticed that there were a lot of rings that were somewhat similar to this ring, and they were much more expensive. And this ring was much cheaper than all the other rings, and it was only 5 mil. But I didn't think much of it at the time, so I bought it, and I was really excited. And then 2 weeks later, I found out why this ring was so cheap. Because the gold polish wore off, and I realized it was a silver ring. It was just gold plated. I didn't, understand Italian, I guess, and I couldn't read in the nuance that it wasn't gold. It was a gold-plated silver ring, and that's why it was so much cheaper than the other rings that actually were gold. So I thought that was a good story for me, kind of to go back to my roots. And there were a couple of lessons for me. One is that deep due diligence is very important in investing, and the other is that a lot of times things that seem like a good value and are cheap on the surface are actually not particularly good values in the end, because they're cheap for a good reason, and that quality is an important characteristic of my investment process. So that's the story behind the name of Silvering Value Partners. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, guys.